The Northern Ireland national football team represents Northern Ireland in international association football. From 1882 to 1921 all of Ireland was represented by a single side, the Ireland national football team, organised by the Irish Football Association. In 1921 the jurisdiction of the IFA was reduced to Northern Ireland following the secession of clubs in the soon-to-be Irish Free State, although its team purported to remain the national team for all of Ireland until 1950, and used the name Ireland until the 1970s. The Football Association of Ireland organises the separate Republic of Ireland national football team. History. On February 18, 1882, 15 months after the founding of the Irish FA, Ireland made their international debut against England, losing 13-0 in a friendly played at Bloomfield in Belfast. This remains the record defeat for the team, and also England's largest winning margin. On February 25, 1882, Ireland played their second international, against Wales at the racecourse ground, Wrexham, and an equaliser from Johnston became Ireland unregistered trademark's first ever goal. In 1884 Ireland competed in the inaugural British Home Championship and lost all 3 games. Ireland did not win their first game until February 19, 1887, a 4-1 win over Wales in Belfast. Between their debut and this game, they had a run of 14 defeats and 1 draw, the longest run without a win in the 1800s. Despite the end of this run, heavy defeats continued. On March 3, 1888 they lost 11-0 to Wales and 3 weeks later on March 24 they lost 10-2 to Scotland. Further heavy defeats came on March 15, 1890 when they lost 9-1 to England, on February 18, 1899 when they lost 13-2 to England and on February 2, 1901 when they lost 11-0 to Scotland. In 1899 the Irish FA also changed its rules governing the selection of non-resident players. Before then the Ireland teams selected its players exclusively from the Irish League, in particular the 3 Belfast-based clubs Linfield, Cliftonville and Distillery. On March 4, 1899 for the game against Wales, McAteer included 4 Irish players based in England. The change in policy produced dividends as Ireland won 1-0. 3 weeks later, on March 25 one of these 4 players, Archie Goodall, aged 34 years and 279 days, became the oldest player to score in international football during the 19th century when he scored Ireland unregistered trademark's goal in a 9-1 defeat to Scotland. In 1920 Ireland was partitioned into Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland. In 1922 Southern Ireland gained independence as the Irish Free State, later to become a republic under the name of Ireland. Amid these political upheavals, a rival football association, the Football Association of Ireland, emerged in Dublin in 1921 and organised a separate league and international team. In 1923, at a time when the home nations had withdrawn from FIFA, the FAI was recognised by FIFA as the governing body of the Irish Free State on the condition that it changed its name to the Football Association of the Irish Free State. The Irish FA continued to organise its national team on an all-Ireland basis. Between 1928 and 1946 the IFA were not affiliated to FIFA and the 2 Ireland teams coexisted, never competing in the same competition. However, on March 8, 1950, in a 0-0 draw with Wales at the racecourse ground, Wrexham in a World Cup qualifier, the IFA fielded a team that included 4 players who were born in the Irish Free State. All 4 players had previously played for the FAI in their qualifiers and as a result had played for 2 different associations in the same FIFA World Cup tournament. After complaints from the FAI, FIFA intervened and restricted players' eligibility based on the political border. In 1953 FIFA ruled neither team could be referred to as Ireland, decreeing that the FAI team be officially designated as the Republic of Ireland, while the IFA team was to become Northern Ireland. Past performances, British Home Championship. Until the 1950s, the major competition for Northern Ireland was the British Home Championship. The team had won the competition 8 times, taking the title outright on 3 occasions. They were the last winners of the now-defunct competition held in 1984, and hence still are the British champions, and the trophy remains the property of the Irish FA. FIFA World Cup. Northern Ireland's best World Cup performance was in their first appearance in the finals, the 1958 World Cup, where they reached the quarter-finals after beating Czechoslovakia 2-1 in the playoff. They were knocked out by France, losing 4-0. In the 1958 competition, Northern Ireland became the least populous country to have qualified for the World Cup, a record that stood until Trinidad and Tobago qualified for the 2006 World Cup. Northern Ireland remains, however, the least populous country to have qualified for more than one World Cup Finals tournament, to win a World Cup Finals match, to have scored at a World Cup Finals, and to have progressed from the first round of the World Cup Finals. Captain of the national side of the 1958 World Cup was Danny Blanchflower, who also captained Tottenham Hotspur in the English League and was twice Footballer of the Year in England. His younger brother Jackie was also a key member of the national team, and won 2 league titles in England with Manchester United, until his career was ended by injuries suffered in the Munich air disaster of February 1958. Despite the presence of world-class forward George Best, another Manchester United player, for most of the 1960s and into the 1970s, Northern Ireland failed to qualify for any major tournaments during this time. Northern Ireland also qualified for the 1982 World Cup. Their opening game was against Yugoslavia at the La Romareda in Zaragoza. It was the international debut of 17-year-old Norman Whiteside, who became the youngest player ever in the World Cup finals, a record that still stands. The game finished goalless. 5 days later they drew 1-1 with Honduras, which was a disappointment, and many believed had doomed Northern Ireland's chances of advancing in the competition. They needed a win against host Spain in the third and final group game at the Mestalla Stadium in Valencia. They faced a partisan atmosphere with a mostly Spanish crowd and a Spanish-speaking referee in Jacopo Ortiz, who was unwilling to punish dirty play from the Spanish players. However, a mistake from goalkeeper Luis Arconada gifted Jerry Armstrong the only goal of the game, and despite having Maldonado sent off on 60 minutes, Northern Ireland went on to record an historic 1-0 win and top the first stage group. A 2-2 draw with Austria at the Vicente Caldera Cubden Stadium meant that a win against France would take them into the semi-finals. However, a French team inspired by Michel Platini won 4-1 and eliminated Northern Ireland from the competition. In the 1986 World Cup, they reached the first round. Billy Bingham, a member of the 1958 squad, was manager for both of these tournaments. They have not qualified for any other World Cups. Uefa European Championship, the side have yet to participate in their first European Championship finals. This is despite of the fact that Northern Ireland beat West Germany 1-0 both home and away in qualifiers for Euro '84. The latter was West Germany's first ever home defeat in either European Championship or World Cup qualifiers. More recently, David Healy broke the record for goals scored in one Euro campaign, previously held by Davor Suker of Croatia, by scoring 13 times in Northern Ireland's attempt to qualify for Euro 2008. Recent history. Lauri Sanchez was appointed in January 2004 after a run of 10 games without a goal under the previous manager Sammy McElroy, which was a European record for any international team until San Marino went over 20 games without scoring between October 2008 and August 2012. That run ended after his first game in charge, a 1-4 loss to Norway in a friendly in February 2004. The run of 16 games without a win ended after his second game, a 1-0 victory in a friendly over Estonia, with a largely experimental side, in March 2004. On September 7, 2005, Northern Ireland beat England 1-0 in a 2006 World Cup qualifier at Windsor Park. David Healy scored the winner in the 73rd minute. Almost a year later, on September 6, 2006, Northern Ireland defeated Spain 3-2 in a qualifier for Euro 2008, with Healy scoring a hat-trick. In June 2007, Nigel Worthington was named manager in the place of Lauri Sanchez, who took over at Fulham. Initially Worthington took over until the end of the Euro 2008 qualifiers, but was later given a contract until the end of the UEFA Euro 2012 qualifiers. Michael O'Neill became manager in February 2012 after Nigel Worthington had resigned in October 2011 after a poor Euro 2012 qualification campaign. Stadium. Northern Ireland play their home matches at Windsor Park, Belfast, home of Linfield FC, which they have use of on a 108-year lease, giving the owners 15% of revenue, including gate receipts and TV rights. There was a proposal to build a multi-sports stadium for Northern Ireland at the disused Maze prison outside Lisburn for the use of rugby, Gaelic games and football. This plan was given an in-principle go-ahead by the Irish Football Association. However, it was opposed by fans, over 85% of whom in a match-day poll conducted by the Amalgamation of Northern Ireland Supporters Clubs preferred to stay at a smaller new or redeveloped ground in the city of Belfast. The ANISC organised a protest against the move to the Maze at the game against Estonia in March 2006. The issue assumed ever greater urgency by 2007, following a series of inspections which questioned the suitability of Windsor Park to host international football. Following a reduction of capacity due to the closure of the railway stand, the IFA made it known that they wished to terminate their contract for the use of the stadium. A report on health and safety in October 2007 indicated that the south stand might have to be closed for internationals, which would further reduce the stadium's capacity to 9,000. In April 2008, Belfast City Council announced that they had commissioned Drivers Jonas to conduct a feasibility study into the building of a sports stadium in Belfast which could accommodate international football, which was followed at the beginning of May 2008 by speculation that the Maze Stadium project was going to be radically revised by Peter Robinson, the Finance and Personnel Minister in the Northern Ireland Assembly, so that any construction might be used for purposes other than football, rugby union and Gaelic games. Given the time that is needed to build a new stadium, in the absence of significant work improving Windsor Park, Northern Ireland may be forced to play their home games at a venue outside Northern Ireland for a period. In March 2009 proposals were announced for the construction of a new 25,000-seat stadium in the Sydenham area of East Belfast as an alternative to the Maze proposal. This would form part of a major development, with links to both George Best Belfast City Airport and the Bangor Railway line. The development would also include a hotel, and retail leisure areas. The stadium itself would be used for both football and rugby union, with Glentoran and Ulster Rugby intended as tenants. However, Ulster GAA, who were a partner in the Maze proposal, stated that in the event of a new stadium being built in East Belfast, which is a major unionist area, their preference would then be to remain at Casement Park in nationalist West Belfast. The IFA were initially non-committal about any of the proposals for improving their facilities, be it rebuilding Windsor Park, or supporting either the Maze or Sydenham proposals. However, in September 2009, they issued an announcement in favour of the redevelopment of Windsor Park. Although there were no specifics to this, Linfield had previously released a study with two proposals, of which the major one would be a £20 million rebuilding of the stadium, raising capacity to 20,000. In 2011, the Northern Ireland Executive allocated a £138 million for a major programme of stadium redevelopment throughout Northern Ireland, with a £28 million allocated to the redevelopment of Windsor Park into a brand new, 20,000 all-seater stadium. Controversy and sectarianism. An element of Northern Ireland's support is perceived by some to be sectarian. Neil Lennon, a Roman Catholic Celtic player who had been subject to sectarian abuse from some supporters while playing for Northern Ireland in Windsor Park, was issued with a death threat by loyalists and retired from international football as a result. Steps have been taken to eradicate the sectarian element within the support. Lennon has been quick to praise these initiatives, although added that because of Windsor Park's location it still can be an intimidating place for Catholics to go. But the IFA have made huge strides. He also praised the Football for All Outstanding Achievement Award winner Stuart McAfee, for the work they have carried out to create a more inclusive atmosphere at international games. In 2006, Northern Ireland supporters were awarded the Brussels International Supporters Award for their charity work, general good humour and behaviour and efforts to stamp out sectarianism. Representatives of the amalgamation of official Northern Ireland supporters clubs received the award from Uefa and EU representatives prior to the Northern Ireland vs Spain game at Windsor Park in September 2006. Steps by the IFA to promote football for all continue. At a friendly match in Dublin in 2011 against Scotland, the IFA carried out an inquiry following an incident in which a minority number of drunken fans sang sectarian songs. One fan who was identified in the inquiry was said to be in line for a lifetime ban from receiving tickets to any future Northern Ireland home or away games. Northern Ireland Minister of Culture, Arts and Leisure, Cara El Machuila N., the first senior Sinn Féin copyright and representative to attend an international at Windsor Park, commended the very real efforts that have been made by the IFA to tackle sectarianism at their matches after a match in August 2011. Popular culture, the Green and White Army is the name given to the fans that follow the Northern Ireland national football team. Since the defeat of England in 2005 there has been an increased demand for tickets outstripping supply. Tongue-in-cheek songs such as We're Not Brazil, We're Northern Ireland, It's Just Like Watching Brazil and Stand Up for the Ulstermen are popular at home matches. One of the first footballing celebrities was former Manchester United and Northern Ireland footballer George Best. The 1968 European Footballer of the Year, Best won 37 caps and scored 9 goals for his country. Competitive record. FIFA World Cup, AAA a champions, AAA a runners-up, AAA a third place, AAA a fourth place, UEFA European Championship, summary of results, all competitive matches, all matches including friendly ESA Euro data correct as of Northern Ireland v Finland, August 15, 2012. The team have also won the home championship 8 times, including 5 shared. Friendly matches 2013, FIFA World Cup 2014 qualifying. Friendly matches 2014, UEFA Euro 2016 qualifying. On February 23, 2014 Northern Ireland were drawn to face the Faroe Islands, Finland, Greece, Hungary and Romania in UEFA Euro 2016 qualifying Group F. The matches are scheduled to be played between September 2014 and October 2015. Players. Current squad. The following players were called up for the friendly away matches against Uruguay and Chile on May 30 and June 4 respectively. Caps and goals correct as of June 4, 2014. Recent call-ups. The following players have been called up to the Northern Ireland squad during the last 12 months. Previous squads: FIFA World Cup squads, 1958 FIFA World Cup squad, 1982 FIFA World Cup squad, 1986 FIFA World Cup squad, greatest ever team. The following players were voted by fans as worthy of being included in Northern Ireland's greatest ever team. Managerial team: MAN, Billy Bingham, ASS. Lowry Sanchez, First 11. GK, Pat Jennings, RB, Jimmy Nicholl, CB, Aaron Hughes, CB, Jackie Blanchflower, LB, Mal Donofrey, RM, George Best, CM, Danny Blanchflower, CM, Stephen Davis, LM, Michael Hughes, CF, David Healy, CF, Peter Doherty. Substitutes. Sub GK, Harry Gregg. Sub RB, Pat Rice, Sub CB, John McClelland, Sub LB, Nigel Worthington, Sub RM, Keith Gillespie, Sub CM, Martin O'Euro unregistered trademark Neil, Sub LM, Peter McParland, Sub CF, Jimmy McElroy. Player records: Northern Ireland players with 50 or more caps. As of May 30, 2014, the players with the most caps for Northern Ireland are Top Ireland/Northern Ireland goal scorers. Managers: as of March 5, 2014, current coaching staff: Manager, Michael O'Neill; Assistant Manager, Billy McKinley; Assistant Coach Analyst Austin McPhee; Goalkeeping Coach, Mick Taylor; Physio, vacant; Team Attendant, vacant; Kit Suppliers, Media Coverage. Sky Sports currently have the rights to show all of Northern Ireland's international fixtures. For many years the games were shown live on BBC Northern Ireland, until the rights to home games were sold to Sky in 2007. In May 2013, Sky acquired the rights to all Northern Ireland qualifying games for UEFA Euro 2016 and the 2018 FIFA World Cup. See also, Green and White Army, Notes. References. External links, Irish Football Association Northern Ireland Football Official Site, Northern Ireland Stats and Statistics, RSSSF Archive of International Results 1882 RSSSF Archive of Most Capped Players and Highest Goal Scorers.